Hi, this is Meghla. I'm going to start today with algebra part 2, that is quadratic equation. So last class I have done this linear equation, and now we are going to start with this one. And here last class I have explained clearly what is linear and what is quadratic or what is cubic equation. So let me again just revise once. Linear equation is the one where you have the maximum power of 1 as the for any variable. So there is a degree, first degree, and here we can say it's a degree of 2. Second degree, that is maximum power of any variable here is going to be 2. So you can see that this is a quadratic equation you have, that is ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, and you can see the maximum power you have here is 2. So this is called quadratic equation, and if the power is 3 maximum, then we call that as a cubic equation, and so on. So here the meaning of this one, okay, here we have this. So you can see that if suppose we have a as something, suppose we say a is equal to 0 or something, then we cannot call this as a quadratic equation, because it should have this value, unless otherwise this x square exists because of this a. If it doesn't exist, then it is not called quadratic, then it will become linear equation, and so on. And these are all the coefficients a, b, c, and c is a constant. So there is nothing much to explain in this, but I'll just tell you this. This is another formula which you must have used in the school. That is, to find the value of x in this quadratic equation, you go for this one, minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. This is a formula where we call this the value which is within this root, that is b square minus 4ac, is called the discriminant. Let us see what is exactly this discriminant and what exactly this is going to do. So this is the discriminant, whatever you have, what exactly you are going to do. So that is nothing but b square. It's like b square minus 4ac in the equation, like in the previous page you have seen. I'll just write it again. That is x is nothing but minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So you have this equation, and in that, suppose you make this as 0. If it is equal to 0, then you will have only one value, because plus or minus. So normally, because the power is maximum power is 2 here, we will have two different values of x here. But the thing is, basic thing, you can just go for this, x square equal to 64. Then we call x is equal to, normally you say 8, but it is actually plus 8 or it's minus 8. Both are the answer. So we will have two different values whenever the square term comes. But if this becomes 0, then plus or minus is no value, like it will be only minus b by a. So that is what is mentioned here. In the first case, you will have one value, the real value, and there is only one value. But if this is greater than 0, like b square minus 4ac is greater than 0, then definitely this exists, and you will have two different values, and they both are different, provided no, it's going to be different. Sometime, like, you may not be having this root, because suppose I say this result is around something like 4, then the 4 root is nothing but 2, so that becomes real. And the third one is when this b square minus 4ac, I'm sorry, ac, I forgot to put this ac, b square minus 4ac, this part, suppose I say it is less than 0, that means it is negative. So root of any negative value is nothing but the complex numbers. And here for the placement, you are now going to see this now, so don't worry about it. And then as explained earlier, like a's term should not be equal to 0, because once that becomes 0, then x square term doesn't exist, and that is not called as a quadratic equation. Next we'll go for this problems. So now we'll see this problem, how to solve this. You have to, as I said, the formulas there which you are seeing now are the factorizing method. So we are going to do both, because most of the cases we'll go for the factorizing method. Where the complicated problems are there, we go for the formula. Otherwise, we don't go for the formula generally. So here, x square minus 6x is equal to 16 is a form. Solve for x here. So solve for x. So first things what you do is, this you have to bring it in this form. Ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0. So this is the form which you have to bring in. So this is a constant c which is lying in the right hand side. So bring it to the left hand side. So this is the form which you have. Sorry. This is the form, x square minus 6x minus 16 equal to 0. When you bring the 16 to the other side, that becomes negative. And then how to factorize. So I don't want to again start from the basic, because you don't have that much time to go for that, but I'll just give you the method what to do. This constant term, whatever you have, is nothing but the product of the two. So you would have come across this x minus alpha into x minus beta equal to 0. This is the thing which you're going to see. So in this we can say like the roots of the equation is nothing but the values of x. To find values of x is called the roots of the equation, and we can say that if you make one of them as 0, then it is x equal to alpha, or we can say x is equal to beta. So the values of x is nothing but alpha, beta. So when you multiply these things, you can see that, let me remove this 16 from here. So when you multiply these two values, you can see that x square will come the first term, and then you will have minus of beta x, then the next one will be minus of alpha x, and then you have plus alpha beta equal to 0. So this one, when you solve it, this will be x square minus x, instead it will be alpha plus beta plus alpha beta equal to 0. So you can see that roots, this particular value, whatever you have, the 16 is nothing but product of these two values, and that is nothing but sum of the two roots will be the coefficient of x. So let us consider the same way. 16, when you consider in this way, you have to see that you just write the product of this. Which two product gives you 16? It's like factors. We are going to write the factors of this one. Sorry. So 1 into 16 gives you 16, or it's going to be like 2 into 8, or it's going to be 4 into 4. Every time you don't have to do this, but I just want to explain to you what exactly this is. And because the product of the two values are negative, that means one of the values is negative, the other value is positive. So that means you're going to take a difference of the two. When you add one positive value, like here one of them will be positive, one will be negative. That means you're going to take the difference of the two. If this is negative, if suppose this is positive, then you're going to take the sum of the two. Okay, here we are, as it is negative, take the difference of these two. 1 and 16, the difference is 15, whereas here you don't have 15 here, so that's not the right value. 2 and 8, the difference is 6. You have 6. Therefore, this is the right value. And 4 and 4, the difference is 0. So 0 means you will not have this x value itself. So we'll go for this. And now, how do you write this? As I have written here, x minus alpha and x minus beta, I follow the same thing here. Just write this one and make it 0. And the two values which you have going to take is 2 and 8. Right? And the sign here, whatever you have, should go for the larger number. 2 and 8, the larger number is 8, and the sign here is minus, and the other one should be positive. You cannot have both as negative. In that case, this is going to become positive. So therefore, when you solve for this, x is equal to minus 2 or x is equal to 8. This is going to be your answer. Right? So the same way, we're going to see the next one here. Solve x square minus 16 equal to 0. So you can see here is almost the same. We are not having x value here. So I don't think you need any kind of explanation here. It's like x plus 4 into x minus 4. Therefore, the roots are minus 4 and plus 4. So you can also consider that there is no x term. So that should be 0. So we can also go for the same values. You can say that this is the value which is applicable here. And of course, one should be positive, the other should be negative. That's it.